Hey everyone, this is Matthew the Team Mildy Bros, and today I'm bringing you something very special. Now, those who know me know that I'm a big sucker for epic bosses in video games, those awesome showdowns where the hero faces off against his mortal foe. There are few things better than the feeling you get when you finally reach the boss's lair, you step inside, knowing you're ready, because the whole game up until now has been spent preparing you for this very moment. And then you see the boss. He rears up in front of you, gives his battle cry, swings his weapon threateningly, and then the music starts. Yeah. No matter what game you're playing, you know when that music changes to that epic boss track, things just got real. Well, that's why today I'm bringing you a list of what I think are the 10 awesomest boss themes of all time. The boss tracks that stand out above the rest, grab your attention, and just scream epic! I've scoured the internets as well as my own childhood memories for 10 songs to fill this list, and I believe I found them. And I've arranged them in order from least epic, though still pretty epic, to the most epic for your viewing pleasure. So enjoy. Now, before I go on, it should be noted that I, obviously, have not played every game of all time, nor have I heard every boss theme of all time. I have, however, attempted to reach out and choose from as wide a variety of games as possible, but there's only so much I can do. And also, while some of the series I chose music from may have had more than one boss track that really should have been on this list, I only chose the best track from each franchise in the interest of fairness. Otherwise, half the list would be Kingdom Hearts and the other half would be Mega Man, and that wouldn't really be fair to other franchises that also have pretty awesome boss music. So, in any case, without further ado, let's dive right into the 10 coolest, most epic, most awesome video game boss themes of all time. Number 10. What more iconic rivalry is there than Kirby versus King Dedede? Oh, okay, well, there's Mario and Bowser, but Mario's not a pink puffball and Bowser is a penguin. But anyway, what makes the rivalry between King Dedede and Kirby so great is that King Dedede is not even a villain. I mean, not really anyway, he just really hates Kirby. So they're more like rivals than, hero and villain. But in any case, I like all of Dedede's themes, but it's this one from Superstar Ultra that I really like the best. It just had that feeling of, this is the final showdown, the end of our rivalry, and if it's gonna end, then we'll make such an end as to be worthy of remembrance. Sorry for that. But anyway, that, my friends, is why Mass Dedede's theme belongs in the number 10 spot on my list of the most epic video game boss themes of all time. Number 9. Everyone who has ever played Chrono Trigger crapped their pants just now. Yup, that's right. Here at the number 9 spot is Lavos, the final boss of the amazing game Chrono Trigger. I shouldn't even need to tell you why he's on this list. I mean, he's Lavos. You could give him pretty much any music and still be awesome just by virtue of its proximity to him. But, I mean, this track is pretty awesome in its own right, with its fast tempo. It really builds up tension and makes you feel like you're racing against time. Get it? Time? No? But, really the only reason it's on this list, though, is because of that scream at the very beginning. Lavos' scream, which you have heard many times before in the game and have really come to hate and fear. It was an excellent choice on the part of the musical directors to start the battle with Lavos off with his scream, just to remind you of just whom you're battling and why you should fear him. And then, when you finally take him out, he gives one final scream. At long last, you've defeated your fear, and you don't have to be afraid of anything else ever. And that is why Lavos' music is number 9 in my list of the top 10 greatest boss themes of all time. Number 8. even possible to make a list of the greatest boss themes and not include this one? The product of mad scientist Hojo's Genova project in Final Fantasy VII, Sephiroth has gone on to become one of Final Fantasy franchise's most recognized and most popular characters. And he really couldn't have done it without a badass theme to go along with him. Save for Sephiroth's theme, One-Winged Angel has become almost as iconic as Sephiroth himself. The main reason for this is, of course, due to the Latin chanting, which spawned a whole genre of final bosses with chanting in the background, but Sephiroth was the first to do it, and arguably he's still the best. For those wondering what the chanting means, you can find translations of it online, but the refrain, Estuans interius ira vehementi, means roughly burning inside with violent anger. Oh, and by the way, it's church Latin, not actual Latin, but anyway, I digress. But, yeah, it's roughly usually translated burning inside with violent anger. However, it isn't as well known that estuans doesn't just mean burning, but also has a connotation of being consumed, which would seem to imply that Sephiroth is literally being eaten from inside by his own rage, which, considering his backstory and characterization, fits him just perfectly. Number 7. So, you've beaten the Elite Four. You've collected all the badges, both Johto and Kanto, and now there's no one in the world who can stand in your way. You're in Mount Silver, fighting your way through hordes of high-level Pokemon, struggling your way up to the top. And then, when you finally get there, you see him, your eternal rival, waiting silently, in the cold and the hail for someone to approach, someone worthy of challenging him. Who is this mysterious figure who has belittled and haunted you throughout your entire journey? Gary Motherfrackin' Oak? No, of course not, it's Red, player character of the previous game, whom you've heard talked of and referenced over and over on your journey, who has now grown so powerful that he has to isolate himself on top of a mountain just to give himself a challenge. He's right there and he wants to battle you. You lock eyes, and then, without words, already knowing what has to happen, the battle commences. A battle between the player characters. And then this music plays. So epic. And that's why Red's theme is number 7 on the list of the most epic boss themes of all time. Number 6. Alright folks, this is it. For the entirety of the Mega Man X series up until now, fans have argued, debated, and fought over who is better, X or Zero. And now it's finally time for them to fight and prove who the better Maverick Hunter is. This theme really brings out the finality of the confrontation, the intense emotions of both of those involved. Well, not in that way, but even more than that, if you listen closely, it also contains a kind of sadness to it, a feeling that this should not be happening, that the two friends really don't want to fight each other, but are forced to by circumstances beyond their control. I had a really hard time deciding between this one and Cannonball, Omega's final theme from Mega Man 03, but ultimately it was that sadness and reluctance that really tipped the scales in this theme's favor. And that is why this theme deserves its spot as number 6 on my list of the 10 greatest boss battle themes of all time. Number 5. I've never been a huge fan of Sonic. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like it in general, but I just have never really gotten into the games. And as such, I've never actually played this game, and I don't even know who Solaris is, although I guess he's the guy in the video right now. But when I heard this song, it just really stood out to me. It just has this feeling of, I don't know, grandness to it. It's like it's saying, okay, you've had this big grand adventure so far. You've been through so many trials and seen so many things, and now it's time to end. Just everything is building up until this one climactic moment, and it's almost as if the game is challenging you to go that very last step and finish it. And just like X and Zero above, it almost seems as if it's sad to see your adventure end, but then it's also happy since it knows you had such a great time, because that's in the past, since I've never played this game. But anyway, that's why Solaris' theme, specifically the second form's theme, is number 5 on my list of the top 10 video game boss themes of all time. Number 4. So I know a lot of you are wondering, who the hell is this jackass? But not a lot of people know about this game, and even if they do, they're often put off by the childish design of the graphics, but really looks can be, and in this case are, deceiving. Drawn to Life is one of the greatest game series I've ever played, and despite its kind of kiddie art style, its storyline and themes are surprisingly adult, touching on topics such as free will, unconditional love, and even death. And in the midst of all this, Wilfrey, the guy you see right before you just now, this jackass, is possibly one of the greatest villains of all time, being all scheming and corrupted by power, but in a way that almost makes you pity him, although not that much, because you still have to kick his ass. But, I mean, he's a normal person who just happened to look too deep into the secrets of his world and got corrupted by it. He haunts you throughout the first, second, and third games, and now, with the fate of the entire world at stake, you face off against him in an epic confrontation that will be sung throughout the ages, or at least it would be if he weren't so freaking easy. But in any case, he still has a pretty epic theme that definitely deserves its spot as number 4 in the list of greatest video game boss themes of all time. Number 3. The Metroid series has some pretty epic music, and I'd be remiss if I didn't include at least one track from a Metroid game on this list. And of all the boss themes from all the Metroid games, this one is, in my opinion, the best. It's really hard to say why. There's no real build-up to the boss. Even someone like Ridley, who you've met and fought multiple times before. And by the way, I would still like to know how Ridley is still freaking alive after I blew him up so many times. But there's just this almost longing feel to the song, like you know you have to kill this thing, but it's just so majestic and awesome that you don't really want to. I don't know how to describe it, but something about this song just pulls me in, and that's why it's number 3 on my list of the 10 most epic video game boss themes of all time. Number 2. I'm sure you all saw this coming. One of the most highly acclaimed games, with some of the best bosses in existence, not to mention the music to go along with them. I would be horribly remiss if I didn't honor Shadow of the Colossus somewhere on this list. The whole game has just this feeling of bigness, almost colossal you might say, and it certainly has the music to go with it. And climbing all those colossi, searching for their weak points, holding on for dear life, and then plunging your sword in once there's an opening. It just wouldn't be the same without this epic music playing in the background. It's encouraging, it's exciting, it's ominous, and above all, it's big. The perfect theme to go along with a definitely big Colossi. Just hearing this theme conjures images of skyscraper-sized monsters lumbering slowly along while you cling desperately to their backs, trying your damned hardest to climb up the way to the very top. And that, my friends, is why the Colossus theme from Shadow of the Colossus definitely deserves its spot as number 2 on my list of the most awesome, most epic boss music tracks of all time. It's a good thing it's so good too, because if you play this game, you will be hearing it a lot. Now, we've listened to some of the best music tracks in video game history so far, from Kirby to Mega Man to Shadow of the Colossus. So, you may be asking yourself, which one beats all of these out? Well, stay tuned and I'll tell you. But first, though, I want to give honorable mentions to a few boss themes that I considered for this list, but which ultimately didn't make it in. Whether because they got pushed out by other songs or because I'd already taken a track from their series and so couldn't include them. But anyway, these are the honorable mentions that almost made it in. Alright, so now that you've heard the 10th to 2nd best boss themes of all time, with a few honorable mentions thrown in that didn't quite make the list, but are still pretty epic, you may be asking yourself, wow, with all those epic tracks I've already heard, what could be better than all of those? What would out-epic the most epic? Well, keep your pants on because I'm about to tell you. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the single most epic video game boss theme of all time. Yep, that's right. It's Dark Impetus, the theme of the mysterious figure from Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Now, I had a lot of trouble deciding between this one and Xemnas' theme from Kingdom Hearts 2, because both are pretty epic and they're just about equally awesome in how well they, convey the emotion of the battle. But in the end, I had to go with this one. It's fast, it's tense, it's suspenseful, and it's just filled with emotions that are difficult to describe. I think it's that violent. I can tell that Yoko Shimomura, the composer for this game, really poured her heart and soul into making this theme. It's got everything: excitement, introspection, a sense of grandeur and finality. It's an epic theme for an epic boss, who, by the way, also happens to be one of the hardest bosses of any video game ever. So it's fitting then that his theme music is also the #1 greatest video game boss theme of all time.